If you have been following BTS for any amount of time, you already know that airport moments hit different. There is something about seeing these 7 men walk through an airport that has always stopped the world. But what happened on the morning of May 31st, 2026, at Incheon International Airport was not just another airport moment. It was something that even the most veteran army struggled to put into words. And if you have not seen the footage yet, stay right here because we're going to break down everything that happened, everything that it means, and why the look on Jimin and Suga's faces the moment they step back onto Korean soil is something that this fandom will be talking about for a very long time. Before we get into it, if you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we cover Jimin and BTS content every single week and you do not want to miss a single update. And if you are already part of this community, you already know what we do here, so let us get straight into it. Let us set the scene first. The North America and Mexico leg of the BTS World Tour Arirang has officially wrapped. What just happened over the past several weeks was nothing short of historic. 15 shows, 5 cities, Tampa, El Paso, Mexico City, Stanford, and Las Vegas. Approximately 840,000 fans. Every single show sold out. Additional dates were added in Tampa, Stanford, and Las Vegas, and those sold out immediately too. This was not just a tour. This was BTS reclaiming their place at the absolute top of the global music industry after years of waiting, years of military service, and years of army holding on and holding it down for them. And when the final curtain dropped at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on May 28, 2026, the first chapter of the North America leg was officially closed. Now here's where it gets interesting. Not all 7 members flew home at the same time. Jin, RM, V, and Jungkook arrived back at Incheon on May 30th. But Jimin and Suga, they flew back together and touched down on the morning of May 31st. 2 people, 1 flight back home. And the moment they walked through those arrival doors at Incheon International Airport, cameras caught something that no one could have scripted, no one could have planned, and absolutely no one could have prepared for. The look on their faces was not what fans expected. Think about this for a second. These 2 men just spent weeks performing in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Las Vegas alone was 4 sold-out nights at Allegiant Stadium. They stood on that stage at the 2026 American Music Awards during a special appearance that marked BTS's return to an awards show stage for the first time in 4 years. They performed Hooligan in front of a global audience. They presented awards alongside artists who clearly could not contain their excitement at being in the same room as BTS. They were everywhere. They were everything. And then after all of that, they got on a plane and flew home. And when they walked through that airport, what fans saw was not the exhaustion you might expect. It was not the blank stare of someone running on no sleep after a massive production. What fans saw was something much more layered than that. There was a specific kind of quiet on both of their faces. The kind of quiet that does not come from being tired. It comes from feeling something so deeply that words cannot reach it yet. Army around the world who watched the footage in real time described it the same way over and over again. That look said everything without saying anything at all. Now let us talk about Jimin specifically, because if you are here, Jimin is why you are here. And what we have watched ParkJimin do over the course of this entire Arirang era has been extraordinary. This is a man who stood on stage at every single one of those 15 North America shows and gave everything he had every single night. His vocal performances throughout this tour have been a masterclass. His stage presence, his ability to make an arena of 65,000 people feel like he is performing just for them, that is not something that can be manufactured. That is something that lives in him. And the reason his airport moment hit so hard is because you could see it in his face. You could see someone who had just poured out everything they had and was now standing in the place where it all began. There is a specific detail about Jimin and Suga traveling back together that fans zeroed in on immediately, and it is worth talking about. These 2 have one of the most layered and beloved friendships in all of BTS. If you go back through the years, you will find moment after moment that shows just how deeply these 2 look out for each other. From Jimin, showing up backstage at Suga's agustd Tour D-Day show at Newark's Prudential Center just to support his friend, to the running banter and constant back and forth that has been a staple of their dynamic for over a decade. Jimin famously showed up to cheer Suga on during his solo tour, not as a celebrity making an appearance, but as a friend who wanted to be there. And now here they are, flying home from the biggest group tour of their careers, sitting on the same plane, walking through the same arrival doors together. Think about what that means. Out of 7 members, these 2 came home at the same time. And when they walked through those doors at Incheon, fans who were there and fans watching online immediately noticed the way they carried themselves. Not like stars fresh off a world tour, but like 2 people who had just been through something together that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Let us pull back and look at the bigger picture for a moment, because context matters here. The Arirang World Tour is not just a tour. This is the first full group tour BTS has done since all 7 members completed their mandatory military service. Every single one of them served. Every single one of them came back. And when they stepped on that stage at the Goyang concert on April 9th to open this tour, the collective emotional weight of that moment was felt around the entire world. But there is something about the end of a leg, about the quiet after the storm, that hits differently than the opening night. The opening is electricity. It is anticipation. It is finally. But the homecoming after the first major leg? That is reflection. That is the moment where the reality of what you just accomplished starts to settle in. 840,000 people, 15 shows, all sold out. The Arirang album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Lead single Swim went to number 1 on the Hot 100. BTS just performed a 360-degree production that critics have called one of the most ambitious live shows in modern music. And in the middle of all of that, they made a special appearance at the 2026 American Music Awards, standing on a stage they had not stood on in 4 years, and the world collectively stopped. Jimin was there. Suga was there. All 7 of them were there. And then after all of it, Jimin and Suga got on a plane and came home together. So when you look at that footage from Incheon on the morning of May 31st, you are not just seeing 2 members of BTS returning from a tour. You are seeing 2 people at a specific intersection of everything they have worked for, everything they sacrificed, and everything that still lies ahead. The Arirang tour is not done. Not even close. South America is confirmed. Europe is coming. Oceania is on the schedule. This thing runs through March 2027. What wrapped on May 28th in Las Vegas was just the first chapter of a story that still has so much left to be written. But May 31st at Incheon, that was a pause, a breath, a moment between chapters. And the look on Jimin's face in that moment, the look on Suga's face, captured something that is almost impossible to articulate but impossible to look away from. There is also a conversation happening right now in the ARMY community about what comes next for Jimin specifically, and it is worth getting into. Jimin's trajectory throughout this entire Arirang era has been remarkable to watch. He was the one who announced on Weverse Live back in November 2025 that the album was finished. He said with the kind of quiet certainty that only Jimin can deliver that the album could come out in spring, and that after performing live again, he really felt like promoting their music. That moment went viral immediately because it was the first concrete confirmation from any member that the album was truly done and ready. And Jimin was the one who said it. Throughout the tour, his performances have consistently been highlighted by major media. Rolling Stone, Billboard, The Hollywood Reporter, all of them have zeroed in on Jimin's contributions to what makes this tour as powerful as it is. His voice, his movement, the emotional intelligence he brings to every single stage he steps on. These are not new observations for anyone who has been an ARMY for any length of time. But watching the world catch up in real time to what this fandom has always known about ParkJimin is something special. And his brand presence throughout this era has been equally significant. Dior, L'Oreal, Tiffany & Company. These are not just endorsements. These are global brands that recognize what Jimin represents as a cultural figure. His Angel Point 1 from the Fast X soundtrack just received RIAA Gold certification in the United States, crossing 500,000 units. That is a song from 2023 that is still charting, still streaming, still adding units 3 years after its release. That is staying power. That is what a generational talent looks like. Now, if you are the kind of ARMY who pays attention to the details, you already know that the dynamic between Jimin and Suga is one of the most fascinating relationships in all of BTS. Their personalities are on the surface almost opposite. Jimin is warmth, He is the person who makes every single fan who ever meets him feel like the only person in the room. He is emotion worn openly, expressively, without apology. Suga's depth. He is the one who thinks before he speaks, who processes everything before it comes out, who can walk through a crowded airport without acknowledging the noise around him because he lives almost entirely in his own interior world. And yet these two have been each other's people for over a decade. They understand each other in a way that does not need to be explained out loud. So when you see them walking through Incheon together on May 31st, with that specific quiet on their faces, knowing everything that they just went through together, and knowing that they chose to fly home at the same time, the weight of that lands differently. It is not dramatic. It is not performed. It is just two people who have been through something enormous, coming home, and for one moment before the next chapter begins, just being present in that. ARMY at the airport were describing the scene in real time on social media as one of the most emotional airport homecomings they had ever witnessed. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because of the exact opposite reason. The stillness of it, the quiet of it, the way both Jimin and Suga carried themselves through that arrival hall as if they were holding something precious and fragile and did not want to drop it by moving too fast. This is what BTS does at a level that almost no other artist can match. They make the ordinary feel sacred. An airport is just an airport, but when ParkJimin walks through it after 15 sold-out shows across 2 countries, with his closest bandmate walking beside him, with 840,000 memories from the past several weeks sitting somewhere in his chest, it stops being just an airport. It becomes a moment. And the look on his face in that moment, the look that no caption could fully describe, that is why this fandom has followed these 7 men for over a decade and will keep following them for decades more. The North America leg is done. The numbers have been reported. The reviews have been written. The Billboard charts have been updated. But what happened on the morning of May 31st at Incheon International Airport is not something you can put a number on. It is not something a review can capture. It is one of those moments that you either felt or you did not. And if you felt it, you already know exactly what we are talking about without needing us to explain it any further. And here's the thing that we need to say out loud, because sometimes this fandom moves so fast from one moment to the next that we forget to stop and actually sit with what we are witnessing. We are living through a specific era of BTS that will be studied and talked about long after all of us have moved on. Think about the timeline. These 7 men debuted together over a decade ago. They built something that had never been built before in the history of Korean music. They broke records that people said could not be broken. They went on hiatus. They served. They came back. They made the Erarang album, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and put a Korean folk song at the center of a global conversation about music and identity. And now they are in the middle of the biggest world tour of their entire career. And in the middle of all of that, on a quiet morning at Incheon International Airport, 2 of them walked through those doors with a look on their faces that said more than any interview, any chart position, or any headline ever could. What makes Jimin and Suga's homecoming moment resonate so deeply is not just what they have accomplished. It is who they have remained through all of it. Jimin has never stopped being the person who gives everything on stage and then gives even more when he thinks no one is watching. Suga has never stopped being the person who processes the world differently, who carries things quietly, who shows up for the people he loves without making a performance out of it. And that is exactly what you see in that airport footage. 2 people who have not been changed by the scale of what they have achieved. 2 people who are still, at their core, exactly who they were before any of this. That is rare. That is the thing that keeps ARMY coming back, not just for the music, but for the human beings behind it. The next chapter of the Erarang World Tour is coming. South America in October. More cities, more shows, more moments that will stop the internet in its tracks. But right now, in this moment, before the machine starts moving again, take a second and appreciate what May 31st at Incheon gave us. That look, that quiet, that homecoming. Because moments like that do not come around every day. And when they do, you want to make sure you actually felt them. If you made it this far, thank you for being here. If this video moved you even a little, please hit the like button because it genuinely helps this channel reach more ARMY who need to see this content. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is the time. We are going to be covering every single step of this Erarang World Tour as it continues through South America, Europe, and beyond. Jimin's journey through this era is only getting started, and we are not going to miss a single moment of it. Drop a comment below and tell us, when you saw the footage of Jimin and Suga arriving at Incheon on May 31st, what was the first thing you felt? We read every single comment, and we want to hear from you. Stay tuned, stay ARMY, and we will see you in the next one.